that person shows up, then Fury's got a chance to beat Usyk. If not,
I think that's B-Hop with the hat on over there. Oh, sorry. This is Jonathan Agoff here for Pro Boxing Fans, joined by the legendary Jim Lampley here in Brooklyn ahead of Haney-Garcia this Saturday night, where you will be hosting the live viewer chat on ppv.com. First of all, tell me a bit about that. Obviously, the fight's on Design Pay-Per-View, but you're doing your own thing on ppv.com.
As media continue to evolve, as technology continues to change the way we communicate with each other, new forms of storytelling emerge, and ppv.com is a new form of storytelling for fights. I sit at ringside along with a high-quality boxing writer, in this case Lance Pugmire of the Los Angeles Times. We type text into a computer, commenting in a free-flow form on what we see happening in the fight in front of us, and viewers who opt into ppv.com also share their comments with us. So it's a live discussion of what's going on in the fight. I'm a part of it. Lance Pugmire is a part of it. Anybody who sits at home and opts into ppv.com can also be a part of it, and we all share together during the fight.
Devin Haney considered probably #1 at 140 at the moment. Where does Ryan Garcia rank? And do you agree that Haney's the #1 at 140?
I think Haney's the number 140-pound fighter, and I think Haney has a platform, a step toward ultimately being seen as the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. That's what he wants, and that's what he's aiming for. He made that clear to me in an interview this week, and he has a win over Vasily Lomachenko. And during my last several years of calling fights on HBO, I was very clear in my perception that Lomachenko was the #1 technician in the sport, had a profound new technical approach to boxing, and it was very fascinating to me at that time to conjure, okay, who can beat him? And he winds up with a couple of losses because nobody's perfect forever. And so on we go, and now that Devin has that credential, his job is to keep improving his technique, keep performing as well as he can, and seek that status of being the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the sport. I think he's serious about it. I think he behaves the way a fighter ought to behave, and he's got a shot.
If Ryan Garcia is to win this fight, what do you think he's got to do to win it?
Ryan Garcia, he's got to land a left hook. It's one of the most common stories in boxing. I think that Garcia does not have the profound boxing skills that Devin Haney has, but he does have a strong, powerful left hook, and that's the one punch that can most change a fight in an instant and turn everything around. So you ask me, what does Ryan Garcia do to win the fight? He's got to land a left hook.
It seems on social media at least that there's question marks over Ryan Garcia and how seriously he's taken this camp. What have you read into that? Is he playing with us? Is there any legitimacy in your opinion?
I don't know Ryan Garcia well enough to offer a judgment as to whether he's playing with us or whether he has some sort of questionable mentality that prompts him to want to create doubts about himself, create question marks about his competitive psychology and what he's doing to get ready for the fight. I'm not really sure. Either there's a very pernicious self-destruct complex going on there, or he's having some kind of fun with his social media feed. I don't have a social media presence. I don't read social media. I regard all of this as a massive distraction, but that just makes me an old fart who doesn't live in the current world. So I'm not a good source for commenting on what it means for Ryan Garcia to behave the way he does on his social media feeds.
Just want to move away. Obviously, I'm from the UK, so want to ask you about a massive fight coming up actually in Saudi Arabia. Tyson Fury, Oleksandr Usyk. Break that fight down for me, Jim.
You know, there was a moment when I thought Tyson Fury had a chance to build a record as one of the greatest heavyweight champions of all time. And then my wife pointed out to me that he had created or allowed to be created a reality television show shot at his home in Morecambe. The moment that you enter into a reality television enterprise, you have departed from reality in your life and in your media presentation. I watched his program, his reality television show, and I remember thinking to myself, this isn't going to help him. This is certainly not going to help keep in place all of the things that have made him the effective fighter that he is. And lo and behold, he winds up slipping. And the slippage, when you're that big, you've got to keep your game together. The slippage is enough that it creates holes in his game, difficulties, and now everything is open to question.
Does Oleksandr Usyk, obviously we've seen him beat Anthony Joshua twice, but does he have enough size, skill to beat someone as good as Fury has been over the years?
Hey Eric, how are you? As Usyk proved against Joshua, size is only one factor in boxing, and it's not the decisive factor in certain matchups. The same things that Usyk did to disrupt and ultimately defeat Anthony Joshua, he could do those same things against Fury. Fury's going to have to be buttoned down, serious, fighting as well as he can possibly fight. He's going to have to be the same Tyson Fury who fought Deontay Wilder in their second fight. If that person shows up, then Fury's got a chance to beat Usyk. If not, I think Usyk decisions him the same way he decisioned Joshua.
And then a lot of people feel the Tyson Fury-Anthony Joshua showdown's a lot closer now in terms of the odds and how that's going to play out. Do you agree, or do you feel like there's a clear favourite in that fight?
I think that there's a mystery in Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua. Immediately after Fury disposed of Wilder, I would have told you there's no mystery. I would have said that that Tyson Fury was not beatable, not even by Anthony Joshua. Now, I think that Joshua is in a good mental position, coming off his ridiculously easy destruction of Ngannou, to go forward with confidence against Tyson Fury.
And just a couple more to ask you about Beterbiev against Bivol for the undisputed light heavyweight championship on June 1st. How do you think that's going to play out, Jim?
Well, it's boxer against puncher, which is not to say that Bivol can't punch. He can. Which is not to say that Beterbiev can't box. He can. But at the end of the day, probably that confrontation is decided by whether Beterbiev lands a big shot that gets Bivol in some kind of trouble. I haven't seen Bivol in trouble. I haven't seen Bivol's chin cracked yet. And I think that he's the better boxer. So if Bivol moves, uses space, fights like a middleweight, which he's capable of doing, I think there's a decent chance that Bivol could upend Beterbiev and puncture the myth of Beterbiev as indestructible. Also, it's possible that Beterbiev catches him with a big shot and gets him in trouble, but I haven't seen somebody crack Bivol's chin yet.
I heard a few interviews say where you mentioned you feel Mike Tyson will knock out Jake Paul. You said you feel that way?
Some of that is wishful thinking. Mike Tyson's an old dear friend. I love him. So I won't deny that wishful thinking enters in, but at the end of the day, boxing is a closely held inner craft. Mike is a boxer. He was trained that way. He had enormous craft in his boxing youth. I think there are probably still some things that the 57, 58-year-old Mike Tyson knows that Jake Paul doesn't know, and therefore my expectation is that Mike will knock him out.
Just finally, Jim, Eddie Hearn announced the signing of Jaron Ennis last week, I believe it was. A lot of people have compared him to a young Roy Jones Jr. What do you think is the ceiling for Jaron Ennis?
Jaron Ennis, I don't know. The sky's the limit. He's wildly talented. His former manager, now deceased Cameron Duncan, spent some long conversations with me on the phone telling me how great Jaron Ennis was going to be, and I put a lot of faith in what Cameron Duncan said. I think he is very talented. I think that these are the critical years of his career as he achieves the focus necessary to go forward and be a great champion. I think it's a little early to compare him to Roy Jones.
All right, well, Jim, appreciate your time, and yeah, great to see you still in boxing, legend of HBO, and yeah, tune into ppv.com on Saturday night.
Thank you very much.